Hey, I gotta tell a little story. It was a long time ago, back when I used to work as a warehouseman, and I was coming home from work. I was coming home early. It was like a Friday. I had something I had to do, and during that time, I had really long hair. I'll get a picture up of that, and I got pulled over. Pulled over. A lot of police vehicles went into that parking lot, surrounded me. And they searched my vehicle, and I was pulled over, and I deserved to be pulled over because my seatbelt was fastened not on me. It was fastened underneath the seat, and I admitted that to the officer. And I had I was not obeying the rules of the road, and I was super honest about what I did. And but they searched my car because I looked a certain way, and honestly, I would have probably pulled myself over in that car, looking like that. I probably would have said, "Hey, we got us a live one. Let's we got to protect the community from this guy." I mean, little did they know that you can't judge a book by its cover, and that I was a Bible reading, long-haired. Guitar player, but it was someone who spent more time praying than doing drugs or any of those things. Didn't do any drugs at that time, and was like living for God at that time. And I thanked the officer, and I really think that that shows kind of the heart of the verse I want to share with you today, which is Romans 13. We're going to look at verses 3 and 4. It says, "For rulers, they're not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Well, then do what's right, and you'll receive his approval. For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer." Now again, you see abuses of this, and we hear that all in the news. That's all we seem to hear about is the bad examples. And the example I brought up earlier was not to show a bad example. It was these guys doing their job. I actually thanked them. I said, I get it. I get it. I want you to do your job. I want you to stop somebody who might be doing right, because I didn't do those things. I wasn't right, and I had done something that was wrong. I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, and I believe at the time that was the rule. You had to wear your seatbelt. I think I got a warning. But if I get pulled over for speeding, and I'm speeding, then I should get pulled over. I shouldn't get special treatment because I look a certain way or because I'm coming from church. I should get a ticket if I am going 100 miles an hour. I should be afraid of the police if I'm going 100 and it's 55. I'm not going the speed limit. So I will live a life of peace if I am doing my best. Again, we're not going to do this perfectly, but I'm doing my best to obey what the rules have been put in place that help us, that keep us safe. That's what speed limits are about. That's what traffic rules are about. Seat belts and all these other things. They might be a pain, might be something we don't want to have to do. But again, God has put those people in place, in power, to help us, to encourage us. And God's going to use them to keep the peace. He's going to use them to protect the innocent and the people who are being hurt and victimized. And we should support them in that. We should thank them in that. Because they're not looking for us. They're looking for someone else. And again, we can have conversations about when we see abuses of that power, when we see that wrongly used. That's fine. But we should never use that to just, shoot down everything or shut down everything. Do away with it. No, we work for reform, right? We work to encourage the best practices when it comes to government, when it comes to law enforcement, when it comes to all of these things, because we know it's something that comes from God. And it's supposed to have a good purpose. And we want to champion that good purpose so that people can live in peace. knowing they're loved by God, knowing that Jesus died for them and forgave them. We have freedom to do that in this country. Let's embrace that freedom. Let's fight for that freedom. And let's fight to protect the lives of those who, again, need that help and protection. So we'll talk to you next time as we're continuing to look at what it's like to serve God in our world as exiles. See you next time.